Audio check.
Test.
Ready? Let's go.
Ready for a new era
of racing in the Middle East.
6 rounds of competition.
Starting in the Kingdom of Bahrain.
where night turns into day.
We're ready to kick off in your season. We are the first generation.
Ready to get started.
We are
The Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East.
Welcome to the Kingdom of Bahrain for the first ever race weekend of the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East, the newest, the 12th regional Porsche Carrera Cup, and it's the end of a 15-year journey to get to this point and the beginning of a whole new adventure. Yesterday we had qualifying and race 1 for the opening race weekend, and this afternoon, this morning even, we will have our second race. This is the first of 6 race weekends. We begin here in Bahrain, where they return in mid-December for the second pair of races of the season. Then January in Dubai, then to Abu Dhabi, and then the final 2 race weekends supporting Formula 1 here in Bahrain and at the Jeddah Street Circuit across the causeway in Saudi Arabia. Well, the Bahrain International Circuit, well known and the base for racing in the Middle East, and particularly for the Porsche GT3 Challenge, which became the Porsche Sprint Cup, which has now become an official Carrera Cup. So all these cars, the 500 plus brake horsepower 992 GT Cup cars, these are the same that they race in the Carrera Cup Deutschland, in France, in Italy, in the UK, in Benelux, and across the rest of the planet. They are superb, high-performance, one-make racing machines. Well, our grid features at the front are 5 pro drivers. Theo Overhaus from the Netherlands is on pole position from yesterday's race winner at the line and pole sitter Robert de Haan. Flint Schuring and Colin Bernighausen, easy for me to say, are on row 2, ahead of Janos Stierk, and our Pro-Am pole sitter Soren Spreng from his class rivals Saad El Saud and Khaled Al Ahmadi. Ahmed El Shabab, and then the Am pro sitter Sebastian Gorgia, ahead of Bashar Mardini, Cedric Chassang, and Salman Al Khalifa. Sheikh Salman, the CEO of the Bahrain International Circuit, taking part in this race as well. He won't be doing the entire season. He's got too many other things to do here at BIC, but having been part of the adventure with Walter Lechner and his sons, Walter Jr. and Robert Lechner, who now run the team that carries Walter Lechner's name, he's been part of every milestone event they've had here and continues to do so. He was very keen indeed to be part of this race. Well, there's Robert de Haan, started on pole yesterday, was the first man to the checkered flag, but we did see a little replay of him just creeping and stopping before the lights went out, and I'm afraid that qualifies as a jump start, and he then picked up a 5-second penalty, so he finished in 3rd in the amended results, and that means that victory in race 1 went to the driver who was 2nd at the flag, a position that he took on the last lap. And that was Theo Overhaus, who now starts on pole position. Well, Flint Schuring there, you can see lining up in 3rd on the grid, raced this year in the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux, was in 3rd place overall, couple of pole positions and a race win for Flint Schuring, whose older brother Moritz races in the Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup, so we know where the family intentions are headed there. Colin Bernighausen, Colin, the Sprint Challenge Central Europe champion for 2021. 22 in fact, raced last year, or this year, 23, in the BMW M2 Cup, and has come back to the Porsche fold here in the Carrera Cup Middle East, and clearly his intention is to head to do more Carrera Cup racing. Jana Stiak in 5th place, another one of our junior drivers, who's a rookie racer in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. This is Soren Spring, the Pro-Am pole sitter. Pretty easy car to spot, and he was the Pro-Am champion in Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland, which is still widely regarded as second only to the Mobil 1 Super Cup as the toughest one-make Porsche challenge to win. So Soren Spring, the Pro-Am champion there. He's in the Pro-Am class here, the second of our 3 categories. And there is the top qualifier from the Gulf Cooperation group, the GCC drivers. It's for Saudi Arabia Racing. Saud Al Saud started racing in the GT2 category in the Sprint Challenge, Sprint Cup a couple of years ago, and staying with the program here. And his Saudi Racing teammate, Khaled Al-Ahmadi, was the GT4 champion a couple of seasons back. So he too has GT4 experience now, stepping up to GT3 level of racing with these Carrera Cup cars. He's 3rd in Pro-Am. There are a number of local drivers here, Bahraini residents, Kuwaiti residents, Emirates residents, but also nationals from those countries. So we've got the 2 Saudi drivers. Team Kuwait's Ahmed Al-Shahab, 2nd in Pro-Am in the Sprint Cup last season, looking to go one better this year. And he finished in 3rd place in yesterday's Pro-Am group. He starts in 4th in the Pro-Ams. And then alongside him, Sebastian Gorgia, this easy-to-spot car with its dark grey and lime green livery. Sebastian Gorgia, the Italian, his 1st week in Porsche Carrera Cup racing here. He's in the AM category, and he had a very good day yesterday, won the AM category, and under real pressure all the way through the race. Cars are ready to head away. There's Bashar Mardini from Dubai, Team BMR, and he was the Pro-Am champion in the Sprint Cup in 2022. So again, plenty of experience. He lines up in 5th place in Pro-Am ahead of class rival and new arrival, Frenchman Cedric Chassang. Now, Chassang drives for the Dutch GP Elite team. They have a presence in Carrera Cup Deutschland, in the Benelux Series, and in the Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup, where they have been multiple champions with Larry Tenforda. Tenforda, 2-time Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup champion, and a 2-time champion team, also GP Elite. Sheikh Salman Al Khalifa, the boss of the circuit here, and one of the arch motorsport enthusiasts in the Gulf region. Sheikh Salman flying the colours of Bahrain, which you see not only across the circuit here, obviously, but across the entire country. And delighted to be on the grid here. Timo Recker alongside him. The dark blue and pink highlights make the Dubai resident expat's car easy to spot. He's another of our Pro-Am drivers. And then the final row of the grid, 2 more AM drivers. Another expat, Canada's Mark J. Thomas, who lives here in Bahrain. He's in the M3L car at the inside of row 8, and on the outside, Jabbar Al Khalifa, the 1% racing team. And Jabbar, former F-16 fighter pilot and absolute motorsport fanatic. Robert Lechner was saying that his dad always used to say, if you phone Jabbar at 3 in the morning and say, can you be at the racetrack by 6, he'd be there by 4. Cars heading off for 1 formation lap, and we will then have a 12-lap sprint race. Same distance as yesterday, maximum time limit is 30 minutes. Getting the drivers used to the discipline of having a maximum time limit as well, because for certain, when you are part of a big World Championship program, like the FIA World Endurance Championship, where this season kicks off, or at the end of the season when their support race for Formula One, if there are any incidents, anything that slows the race down, safety cars, virtual safety cars, full course yellows, then time continues to tick down. You only have a set amount of time on track, so the drivers will need to be aware of that. They are supporting Formula One at the end of the season, and that's a massive opportunity for these drivers to be on the same track, the same weekend as the great and good of Formula One. So Theo Overhaus for the DHL team, the familiar yellow and red colours. DHL, of course, so successfully associated with Porsche and Penske racing in the LMP2 Spider era in the USA. Not only winning championships, but winning races outright against the LMP1 cars, the likes of Audi and Panos and the rest. And DHL, the transport partner for the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East and for the World Endurance Championship, coincidentally, as well. So that tallies in nicely. Lecter Racing, who have been instrumental in getting this entire program running in the last 15 years, a proud Porsche partner. They are the gel that will hold this Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East together. So Theo Overhaus, who ended up with maximum points from yesterday. Robert de Haan picking up that jump start penalty, dropping down to third. He leads the field from Robert de Haan, then Flint Schuring, and the man who finished second in the end yesterday, third at the flag, Colin Berninghausen in the Fire racing machine. That's the white car with those orange flashes. There he is. Robert de Haan and Flint Schuring in the black and grey, or the grey and dark blue stripe up the bonnet of Flint Schuring's car. There's the two Saudi cars. Saud Al Saud in the 3 car ran a little wide in the Turn 4 complex yesterday on lap 1 and lost 3 or 4 places running off track that he then couldn't quite pick up, but he sits on the grid ahead of his teammate Khaled Al-Ahmadi. You can see there in 23. Theo Overhaus, Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland rookie champion, won that title in the season finale just a few short weeks ago. He is here, one of half a dozen junior drivers in the field. Alongside him, Robert de Haan in the grey car has already qualified for this season's Porsche Junior Driver Shootout, but the Carrera Cup Middle East can nominate one of their junior drivers to go into next year's shootout as well. So there is plenty at stake for all of these drivers, not just the category victories, but other fish to fry as well. Many races within these races, as so often is the case with sports and GT cars. So our final cars in their grid boxes. The green flag waves at the back of the grid. 12 laps to go. 5 red lights are on, and when they go off, the poleman in yellow and red needs to make a good start, does make a good start, but Robert de Haan alongside him over the white line. He's going to have to be careful about taking advantage there. He does go down the inside into the lead, but the stewards will look at that little lock-up from the white car of Colin Berninghausen. He makes contact with Flint Schuring, and they are jammed there, and so is Soren Spreng. And here's the challenge for the lead. Pole sitter Theo Overhaus on the right of your picture, the red and yellow, looking around the outside at turn 4. That's going to be very hard indeed. Robert de Haan with the lead. But as with yesterday, I wonder whether the stewards will make a change there. Overhaus comes through. Now that might be a good move from de Haan. Let him go through, give the place back. Now the driver may not have been absolutely focused on the fact that he was 4 wheels outside the white line as he ran up to turn 1 and gained an advantage, but he's given it back, stroke it's been taken back, but he no longer has the lead. So in my book, fair enough, he avoids a penalty. Turn 10 already. This is a tight downhill hairpin, very tricky indeed, even on hot tyres and on cold tyres on lap 1. That's always difficult. It's Theo Overhaus who leads then from Robert de Haan. 3rd place after we saw Flint Schuring, Colin Berninghausen and Soren Spreng turned around. That is Janne Stick. So Stick, the young German driver. Oh, big moment there, and that is Timo Rekker in the barriers, and that may demand a safety car, not because Rekker's car is not moving. It looked as though it might be able to make it back to the pit lane, and he is still going, but the barriers, the marshals will take a look at that. If any tyre stacks have moved, then they will need to be moved back, and that will be a safety car. End of lap 1. Well, that was all quiet, wasn't it? Here we go, very busy indeed. Challenge again, and again Robert de Haan, 4 wheels over the white line, takes advantage. Can't do that. Race director and the stewards will not like that, and again runs out very wide, leaves huge black stripes on the road as Theo Overhaus comes back for him, and here comes Janne Stiek. Well, Janne ended up in 4th place yesterday, having got by Flint Schuring and drove away from him. And there's trouble for the 23 Saudi Arabia car, Khaled Al Ahmadi. Didn't see what happened to him, but that is at the turn 3 sequence. So looks like he's maybe chased the throttle a little too much going up the hill. Or in fact, on the way up to turn 4. In fact, he's not moving too much at the moment, according to the tracker. And that looks like the end of the road, I'm afraid, for Timo Rekker, the Dubai resident. So Timo Rekker from Germany, lives and works in the region. And he was trying to get back to the pit lane. Now, the pit lane is not the main pit. It's on the left of your picture here. It's the Oasis pit lane, which is the support race pit lane here. That's where he's trying to get, because that's where the car needs to go back to. He's still got half a lap, a third of a lap to go, so a couple of kilometres in that damaged car. Theo Overhaus pulling away from Robert de Haan, and Janne Stiek in 3rd place. Then in 4th, Ahmad Al-Shahab. And he is leading the Pro-Am class. Here's the battle for 5th, and this is Saud Al Saud with the green and white of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, ahead of the AM winner from yesterday, Sebastian Gorgia. Now, Gorgia finished in 10th place overall. Just checking, yes, 10th place yesterday, had a big battle on his hands all the way through the race. Mark Thomas has made a good start as well, up to 8th place. Timo Rekker has stopped and has not made it back to the pit lane. He's at the end of the straight. Yellow flags wave. Are there safety car boards? There are not yet. They're going to try and drag him out of the way. Don't make that overtake. See behind, car pulling out. That's not a good idea. Tucking back in is the 99 car of Jabbar Al Khalifa. Then they go back to green as they pass the stricken car of Timo Rekker. And here's Saud Al Saud. So this is the second group of cars behind the top 4, Saud Al Saud and Sebastian Gorgia. Let's take a look again at the start. Good solid launch from the poleman, but a better getaway from Robert de Haan. But watch the white line. Okay, he's 4 wheels over it there. So he can't take advantage and should not make the pass. He's on the inside. He has to keep his nose clean, so he goes through. And there was the trouble from behind. Colin Berninghausen just tangling with the nose of Flint Schuring's car, who got spun around. Everybody trying to take avoiding action. Soren Spreng, the blue and yellow, he was the 3rd car involved. Here's where the lead swapped back. Theo Overhaus nudging his way back down through 6 and 7. And then here's the moment, a change of mind mid-corner, never a good thing in a 911. Timo Rekker, you could see him getting on and off the throttle. He's right by a gap in the wall there. And actually, that would have been a good place to go, and it was out of turn 2, turn 1 even, I think, maybe, that car number 23 had its spin, Khaled Al Ahmadi. He's on his way again, trying to catch the tail of the field, chasing Soren Spreng, who is the last car in the train at the moment, but at the front of it, Theo Overhaus. Right, 4 laps in now, 3 completed, we're on lap 4. There is Sheikh Salman in the Bahraini car. Sheikh Salman Al Khalifa under pressure now. Right behind him is 55, the white fire racing car of Colin Bernickhausen. Sprint Challenge Central Europe champion 2 seasons ago. Looks down the inside of Sheikh Khalifa and through he goes. So Sheikh Salman looking to fight back on the exit. Enjoying his race, no doubt. It's very busy where he is at the moment. Soren Spreng, you saw right there as well. Meanwhile, Robert de Haan with the new fastest race lap, 2:03.80 compared to 2:03.97 of the race leader, Theo Overhaus in the DHL car. And you saw de Haan there having a big lock-up as he came down the hill into turn 8. That's not frequently a big passing opportunity, but we saw a good pass there in the final lap of the race from Theo Overhaus to get by Colin Bernickhausen for what was second and then became victory. Meanwhile, lots more racing going on. Saud Al Saud, Sebastian Gorgia, Bashar Mardini with the yellow, blue and red stripes. That is Mark Thomas. And Jabbar Al Khalifa next up. And here comes Bernickhausen making a move on Cedric Chassang now, down into turn 11. Chassang with a long way round the outside, but oh, Mark Thomas had spun in the middle of the corner. And Chassang there losing 2 spots, had to take avoiding action. He comes back on in front of Sheikh Salman. And so he's going to struggle there. Saud Al Saud still under pressure from the AM class leader, Sebastian Gorgia. Drivers in the AM class, which is intended to encourage less experienced drivers to come in and to find their feet in Porsche racing, it does have the option of using traction control and ABS, so controlling the brake balance a little bit better, controlling the power delivery a little bit more easily to kind of help drivers get used to these very distinctive cars. 911s are not easy cars to race. They require a very different skill set, if you like, a very different way of approaching the racing to most other cars, and certainly most other GT cars. So the Pro-Am cars and the Pro cars do not have ABS, do not have traction control, but the AM cars can use it. And Sebastian Gorgia may well be using that. We saw him battling against Pro-Am car Cedric Chassang almost all race yesterday, and Chassang could just not quite get past him at any stage. Well, that's very much the case with the leaders. All challenge here, down the inside comes 16. And that is Flint Schuring. He goes by. That's how you do it. Pretty incisive stuff from the youngster. Flint Schuring with plenty of Porsche Carrera Cup experience under his belt from this series in the Benelux Championship. He was part of the grid for Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux that supported the World Endurance Championship at Spa in May. Flint Schuring moving his way up the order, just 17 years of age. Janusz Stierk, who's currently in 3rd, is the youngest driver in the field at just 16. Straight from karting into GT racing. No trifling with expensive and slightly irrelevant single-seaters. If you want to be a sports car racer, if you want to win Le Mans, if you want to be the World Endurance Champion, single-seaters may not necessarily be the way to go. Flint Schuring now looking at Saud Al Saud, and this is for 5th place overall. Flint will still be 4th in the pro ranks, but 5th place overall, and the Saudi driver pulling to one side on the straights, and again a challenge for the lead. Theo Overhaus hanging on here from Robert de Haan, massive black stripes. De Haan again, 4 wheels off track. Now he'll say that was avoiding the big slide from Theo Overhaus, but again the stewards will say you ran off track and gained an advantage. And he'll say, well, what was I supposed to do? He was having an accident. Well, he very nearly was, but Robert de Haan has the lead. And this one might go to the stewards as well. Flint Schuring past Saud Al Saud, and Al Saud needs to shut the door now in the green and white Saudi-coloured car to make sure that Sebastian Gorgia does not get by him. Well, here are the lead duo. Janusz Stierk in the background there, hovering with intent, but just about 2 seconds off the lead. Big lock-up from De Haan. Here comes Theo Overhaus. Doesn't get the overlap, but he will have better drive off the corner, maybe. De Haan ran out wide, which is sort of ideal for momentum, but had a lock-up. The problem with locking tyres here is that the circuit is very abrasive. It's an entertaining combination of low grip and high wear. Track has not been resurfaced since it was opened back in 2004, nearly 20 years ago. Sheikh Salman Al Khalifa all over the back of Cedric Chassang. Chassang in the GP Elite car, one of 3 Team GP Elite drivers. Soren Spreng in front of them is the best place for them at the moment in 11th, which is where Cedric Chassang finished yesterday, behind Sebastian Gorgia, who was 10th. And here comes the leader, Robert De Haan, weaving down the straight. Well, that's 3 different moves, 4 different moves down the straight. Theo Overhaus will be wondering where exactly Robert De Haan is thinking about placing the car. Lap 7 of 12, so we're into the second half of this race, and this is where the flat spot now is going to start to, very wide from Theo Overhaus, is going to start to plague Robert De Haan, because as the wheel slows down, it will naturally stop on a flat a bit. And down the inside, good moves from Sebastian Gorgia. He goes by Saud Al Saud in the green and white car, so the lime green and dark grey of Sebastian Gorgia, the AM leader, now up to 6th place overall for the moment. Right behind them is Bashar Mardini, and here comes Colin Bernighausen moving up the order, going by Jabbar Al Khalifa. Now, Jabbar Al Khalifa started on the outside of row 8 on the grid, and Jabbar is in 10th place. And the AM car there with that ABS right on the apex of the corner, coming to a dead halt, and just little contact from behind from Saud Al Saud. He has a little lock-up down into turn 10, runs out wide, door wide open for the gold and black of Bashar Mardini, and he goes straight by Al Saud. So Mardini moves up another spot, and that makes him 7th now. The AM class leader, Sebastian Gorgia, in 6th position. Second in the AM class is Jabbar Al Khalifa, who was in the background of that shot, and Robert De Haan with the lead. Set the fastest race lap on lap 3, 2 minutes 3.8. Last time round, 2 minutes 5.7, so 2 seconds a lap slower. Now they're not on fresher tyres, but this is where the move was made. Clipping the curbs, Theo Overhaus running wide, and then look at the big black stripes on the road as he just drills the throttle, but 4 wheels off track, gaining an advantage, taking the lead. Again, I sense that Robert De Haan might have been advised just to breathe off the throttle a fraction and allow Theo Overhaus to get back in front at turn 4. But I think he feels that there was reason to be running out wide, and that was to avoid Overhaus's sideways car. There is a degree of logic in that. Sebastian Gorgia, 88. The lime green highlights ahead of Bashar Mardini, Saud Al Saud, Colin Bernighausen, Jabbar Al Khalifa, Soren Spreng, and here is Cedric Chassang, ahead of Sheikh Salman Al Khalifa. This is the battle for 12th place. Again, not necessarily expecting Sheikh Salman to be in every race this season. Might race when they come back again here next month. Conceivable that he might even find himself on the grid supporting the Grand Prix of Bahrain, but that really is a very busy work weekend for him, so fun possibly going to be ruled out for him. Sheikh Salman finished 13th yesterday, currently in the top 12, or just outside the top 12, in 13th place. Little run out wide, Cedric Chassang makes the mistake. Sheikh Salman moves up to 12th, and And here is Bashar Mardini trying to put the moves in on Sebastian Gorgia, who has a big slide. I wonder whether he is using traction control. That's the sort of slide that you get when the driver's just urging the car on more. Traction control tends to rule that sort of thing out. However, he may have it turned down rather than in full effect. Bashar Mardini giving the headlights the flash. Saad Al Saud and Colin Bonighausen behind. Lap 9 of 12, so 3 to go now. Leaders are on lap 10. Beg your pardon, leaders are on lap 9. So this plus 3, 4 to go, or a little under. Robert de Haan, last time round 2:05.1 to 2:05.4 of Theo Overhaus and 2:05.2 of Janusz Stiak. So Stiak just closing the gap to second. Bashar Mardini having a little look at the black and gold car there at Sebastian Gorgia. Gorgia in 6th position and leading the AM class. Top GCC driver, by the way, Ahmad Al-Shahab is in 4th place. So he was the top GCC driver yesterday on the podium as well. And he finished in 8th place yesterday. He's in 4th place today. Now, of course, that first corner collision with Bonighausen, Spring, and who else was involved? Forget. That has sort of taken 3 of the top 6 cars out of the equation, but nevertheless, some enterprising racing from Ahmad Al-Shahab. He's ahead of this group. There's Colin Bonighausen. It was Flint Schuring who he turned around, wasn't it? Bashar Mardini looking on the inside into 11. Now then, a late closing of the door for Sebastian Gorgia with the lime green highlights. I was going to suggest maybe that might leave him a little slow up the hill into 12 and over the brow in 13. Not so much. Oh, here comes Bonighausen down the inside of Saad Al Saud. Driver from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia drops a spot. He's down to 9th place, but remains in 3rd in Pro-Am. So each of the 3 classes, Pro, Pro-Am and Am, will have their own podiums, their own prizes and trophies. The GCC drivers, the Gulf Cooperation Council regional drivers, nationals from those countries rather than expat residents, they will have their own podium too. And there will be a trophy for top junior driver as well. Theo Overhaus in 2nd, Janusz Stiak in 3rd. See, the gap has been coming down little by little. Well, Stiak in the black and gold there has been battling no one really in terms of side by side. Should have better front tyres, should have better rear tyres than the 2 cars in front, because he's not been locking up or sliding so much off corners as we've seen from the lead duo. Sebastian Gorgia keeping himself out of harm's reach from Bashar Mardini. You can see his black and gold car with the Canadian flag on the B pillar. He is a Canadian that lives in the region. So Bashar having a very good run here. Started in 11th place. Bashar Mardini in 7th right now. But, whoa, having a little look at the back of Sebastian Gorgia. His worry might be that he's got Colin Bonighausen behind him, yesterday's 2nd place finisher. So attack is always the best form of defence. If he can get by the Italian in front, here we go. Canadian's got a good run into turn 11. Good momentum up the hill. They're both pretty clean. Bonighausen is still right there though. And the white and orange Fire Racing car seems to be closing the gap on the Canadian a little more than Mardini is closing the gap on his Italian rival in front. And Saad Al Saud, with the green and white of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, 4th car in that little group, is waiting for something to happen in front of him. Theo Overhaus losing touch with Robert de Haan, the race leader, as Germany's Janusz Stiak started to close in on the Dutchman. starting from pole. Yesterday's pole sitter Robert de Haan had the fastest lap of everyone in qualifying. The second fastest lap in qualifying for each driver set the race 2 grid. So Theo Overhaus's fastest lap wasn't as quick as Robert de Haan's, but his second fastest lap was quicker than de Haan's second fastest. Of course, none of that really applies to race pace. See the front hood flapping away on the nose of Colin Bernighausen's car. He'll be hoping that the bonnet, he probably can't see it actually, but we'll be hoping that the bonnet pins keep that front hood nicely fixed down. Don't want him flapping up over the screen and causing him major dramas. Oh, here goes a good run. Mardini having a look, he's having to go the long way around the outside, downhill into 9 and 10, that's not going to work. Now needs to shut the door and try and cut back on the inside, but Sebastian Gorja runs out wide. He's got a good flow through corner 10 onto the back straight past the Oasis pits and beside the drag strip, by the way. That's what that double channel line was. Gorja still hanging on to 6. Here comes Bernighausen. Got a good run on the inside of Bashar Mardini. He saw that Mardini's had an attack there for 2 or 3 laps in a row. Played that very well, Colin Bernighausen. Sprint Challenge champion Central Europe a couple of seasons ago. He knows how to drive these cars. He's got good racecraft as well and gets straight by Sebastian Gorja. So he now, Bernighausen, is up to 6th. And still in 5th place in the pro class. Janis Stierk must have made a mistake somewhere. He's dropped back on this lap, 206.7 to compared to 205.5 of the car in front. So Stierk dropped away in 3rd. Bashar Mardini out to the final corner, gets a run on the Italian, takes the place. So Mardini moves up into 7th place. Sebastian Gorja still the AM leader down to 8th, but throws it on the inside, goes by 2 of them. Does he keep it on the island? He does not. Desperately late, and now here comes a pass from Saud Al Saud. Now what he really needs to make sure is he keeps on track to the grey car next up with Soren Spreng going by. The grey car is Jabbar Al Khalifa, and he is 2nd in the AM class, so suddenly he is an awful lot closer. Soren Spreng goes around the outside. Last lap drama all round. But it looks as though yesterday's AM winner with the lime green highlights is hanging on, Sebastian Gorja. However, Jabbar Al Khalifa with Sheikh Salman Al Khalifa right behind him, they need to stick right with the blue and yellow car of Soren Spreng, because he's definitely going to try and make a pass on the Italian in front. And Sebastian Gorja down to turn 10, Spreng little lock-up. Drifts off the corner, really drills the throttle, and then the battle for 2nd place. That's a family battle. Jabbar Al Khalifa and Sheikh Salman Al Khalifa with the Bahraini colours looking to go by. Director not quite sure who to follow first. Here comes our race leader, Robert de Haan. Yesterday's winner at the checkered flag ended up 3rd. He's first to the checkered flag again today. Victory over Theo Overhaus. Janis Stierk completes the podium, and in 4th place, oh, big moment there. And that was a big lunge from Flint Schuring to try and go past Ahmad Al-Shahab, but it's Al-Shahab who wins Pro-Am in the colours of Team Kuwait. What a good run from him. Flint Schuring 5th. Colin Bernighausen comes across the line in 6th. Survived that lurid move from Sebastian Gorja. Then Bashar Mardini, 2nd in Pro-Am. Saud Al Saud, 3rd in Pro-Am. Just ahead of Sebastian Gorja, Soren Spreng, and then Jabbar Al Khalifa ahead of Sheikh Salman Al Khalifa. So Cedric Chassang, Mark Thomas, and Khaled Al Ahmadi are the final finishers. Timo Rekker, the only man who did not make it to the checkered flag. Well, Robert de Haan, pole to victory yesterday, but after being handed a 5-second penalty for a jump start or a full start, dropped back down to 3rd place. He came from 2nd, had a number of attacks to take the lead, and finally the Dutchman got his nose in front. We'll wait to see that the stewards agree with, I'm sure, what will be his summary, which is that Theo Overhaus was having a big moment in front of him and he jinked right, 4 wheels off track on the run up to turn 4, basically to avoid hitting the DHL car in front of him as it got sideways. Overhaus, of course, for his part, will say, yeah, but he went off track to make the pass, so he shouldn't have gained an advantage. At least one occurrence before, De Haan did either give the place back or allow Overhaus to retake the place, having passed him off track, i.e. down into the first corner on lap 1. Prime example. Well, here we go. This is the last lap. Soren Spreng, beg pardon, not Soren Spreng. Our Italian AM winner, Sebastian Gorgia. That was the last lap lunge of all last lap lunges. And you could see as he pulled out of the toe, he was sliding there in the car, leaving big black marks on the road. And a very ambitious last lap lunge, which unfortunately cost him more than he gained. If you wonder why drivers run off track at this stage, it's to pick up all the dirt, the marbles, the rubber from the worn tyres. And that's to try and help with adding weight to the car and adding height to the car, because it bulks up the tyre, if you like, which has been worn down a bit, obviously, by racing. They will run as close to minimum ride height as humanly possible. So it's just a little bit of belt and braces to help with minimum weight and minimum ride height. Top 3 and our GCC winner will head into the box underneath the podium. So Robert De Haan, Theo Overhaus, Janos Stierk, that's 1, 2, 3, and the GCC winner, who's also our Pro-Am winner, Ahmad Al-Shahab from Team Kuwait. So there he is, car number 84 at the back of that little group. Everybody else returning to the Oasis pit lane after a thoroughly entertaining race this morning. Well, right from the word go, Robert De Haan was determined that second place on the grid was not going to be his finishing position in the race, but 4 wheels outside the white line on the run down to the first corner, passing Theo Overhaus, risking a penalty behind. Colin Berninghausen running into Flint Schuring. They were the 2 row 2 starters, and Soren Spreng's blue and yellow Team GP Elite car also getting stuck. Well, out of turn 4, Theo Overhaus came calling on Rob De Haan, and De Haan wisely, I think, letting him go back in front and thereby avoiding the wrath of the stewards. 3-car battle a little further back, and unfortunately our Pro-Am driver Timo Recker, the German who lives in Dubai, ended up just getting out of the throttle a fraction too early. He failed to finish. A spin in the first corner complex for Khaled Al-Ahmadi dropped him to the tail of the field, and then the delayed cars coming through. Khaled Al-Ahmadi was further back down the pack, but a spin there from Mark Thomas, interrupting Cedric Chassang's progress. Late race, Theo Overhaus under applied pressure from Robert De Haan, and at 6s and 7s coming out of turn 3. De Haan taking avoiding action to the driver's right off track, and then passing through into turn 4. But his defence will be that he had nowhere else to go. AM-Class winner yesterday and leader today, Sebastian Gorgia, being chased down by Colin Berninghausen, who went by Bashar Mardini. Mardini second in the Pro-Am class, and then a wild ride for the Italian over the curbs. Berninghausen going through. On to the last lap, down the inside, Georgia, massive lock-up. Somehow Berninghausen sensed him coming and opened the steering up to avoid a big collision. He went through, so did Bashar Mardini, and Saud Al Saud coming up alongside in the green and white of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Further back, Soren Spreng going by Jabbar Al Khalifa, who was second in the second in the AM class rather at that stage, ahead of Sheikh Salman Al Khalifa, and at the checkered flag, Robert de Haan first to the line. Didn't have pole position, set fastest lap though early in the race, and managed after lots and lots of hard work to get by Theo Overhaus. Overhaus in second place, having started from pole, ended up with the win yesterday, and then right in the last corner, big lock up there from Flint Schuring, trying to get by Ahmad Al-Shahab. Al-Shahab ending up with the Pro-Am win. And Sebastian Gorja, yesterday's AM class winner, in the background of the shot, winning in the AM class again today. Well, that was all arms and elbows, wasn't it? Very busy indeed. The crews taking the cars back to the pit lane as our drivers are awaiting their opportunity to step up on the podium. And again, as yesterday, it will be Robert de Haan who takes the top step of the podium. Young Dutch driver was first to the checkered flag yesterday. 17-year-old was then judged to have jumped the start, or made a full start. He actually moved forward a fraction in his grid box before the lights went off, and then started from stationary, but again, the sensors will have registered that as a jump start, and there is no question of what the penalty is for that, I'm afraid. So, de Haan, Overhaus, Stierk, that's the 1, 2, 3 in Pro. Ahmad Al-Shahab, he's our Pro-Am and GCC winner, ahead of 4th and 5th in Pro. Flint Schuring and Colin Berningshausen.
The second round of the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East
are going to come out onto the podium. Let's hear now from track announcer Bob Constantinos.
Well done to him. In second place, yesterday's winner, Theo Overhaus from Germany, and winner on the road yesterday, but eventually classified third, Robert de Haan of the Netherlands. Congratulations to him. And the GCC winner from Kuwait, as yesterday, Ahmed Al-Shahab. Congratulations. And now the national anthem for the winner, the national anthem of the Netherlands. Well done to Robert de Haan. Let's hope you hold on to it this time. He is presented with his trophy by Fayez Ramzi Fayez, Chief Operating Officer of the Bahrain International Circuit. To the second place driver, Theo Overhaus, the trophy is presented by Michael Dreiser, Director of Sales, Porsche Motorsport. And now to the third place driver, Janus Stiak. The trophy is presented by Najla Al-Muhanadi, member of the Bahrain Motor Federation. Congratulations to Janus Stiak. And now to the winning GCC driver, Ahmed Al-Shahab. The trophy presented by Jennifer Bielamol of Porsche Motorsport. Now, if we can have all the winners together for the photograph. Get together for a photograph, please, drivers.
Right in the centre there, smiling face of Robert Lechner, his brother with the greyer beard, Walter Lechner Jr., the science of Walter Lechner, and the architects of this programme, proud official partners of Porsche, and the architects of the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East. Well, congratulations to all involved. Another regional Carrera Cup makes its first steps, and a highly entertaining weekend of action here in Bahrain. They return to Bahrain in December for their second race weekend before moving on through the region until the season's finale, races 11 and 12 at the Jeddah Corniche Street Circuit in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. From all of us here, thank you very much indeed for watching. Tune in mid-December for much more action from the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East. Until then, bye for now.